Welcome to African Folktales by Eri. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more interesting stories. Also to share with friends and family. Now, sit back, relax, and let the story begin. In the heart of Lagos, where dreams rise with the sun and sometimes fall with the moon, our story begins. Lagos, the city that never stops moving, never stops dreaming, never stops hustling. The morning light breaks through the thin curtain in Tolu's small room in Ikorodu. At 24 years old, his eyes carry both the weight of his past and the fire of his future. Tolu is not just any young man, he is a wizard with computers, a magician with code, a dreamer with determination. As the roosters crow and the street hawkers begin their morning calls, Tolu is already awake. His fingers dance across the keyboard of his second-hand laptop, a gift from a kind teacher who saw his potential 3 years ago. Today is the day, he whispers to himself. Today everything could change. Across the city, in a small, rented apartment in Yoba, another dreamer opens her eyes. Kamsi, 22 years old with a smile that could light up the darkest corners of Lagos, reaches for her phone before her feet touch the floor. She checks her Instagram followers, still the same number as yesterday. She sighs. Kamsi came to Lagos from her small village with big dreams of becoming an influencer, a voice that matters. But the city has been teaching her harsh lessons about reality. One more try, she tells herself as she picks an outfit that will make her look more successful than she feels. Today could be different. And then there is Mr. Adebayo, 65 years old, a retired school teacher who now sits under the shade of a mango tree near the busy bus stop. Young people call him the street professor. He doesn't have much money, but his wealth lies in the wisdom he shares freely with any youth willing to listen. Another day to watch the city's children running, he mumbles as he settles into his spot. Running so fast that sometimes they forget where they are going. These three souls, moving in their separate orbits around the great city of Lagos, did not know that their paths would soon cross, bringing lessons that no school could teach and wisdom that no money could buy. Tolu sits in the corner of CyberConnect, the cheapest internet cafe in his neighborhood. The air conditioner broke 2 summers ago, leaving the place hot and stuffy. But Tolu doesn't notice the heat or the noise. His world right now is inside the screen. Final line of code, he mutters, his forehead wrinkled in concentration. He is creating an app for the National Youth Tech Competition, an app that helps small market sellers track their inventory and profits without needing to know how to read well. He named it MarketMate, thinking of his mother who sells vegetables in the local market and always struggles with her accounting. Enter, he whispers, pressing the key to submit his creation. Please work. The loading circle spins on the screen. Tolu holds his breath. Application submitted successfully, flashes the message. Tolu leans back in his chair, exhaustion and hope fighting for control of his face. The competition offers not just prize money but connections to investors who could change everything. Everything. Meanwhile, Kamsi sits in a trendy cafe in Lekki, one she can barely afford. But the backdrop makes her Instagram photos look like she's living the life she pretends to have. She orders the cheapest drink on the menu and stretches it for hours, taking photos from different angles. Perfect lighting, she whispers, applying a filter that makes everything look more expensive. She posts the photo with the caption, "Living my best life." Hashtag Lagos influencer, hashtag blessed, hashtag rising queen. Then she waits, refreshing the screen every few minutes, hoping for likes, comments, any sign that someone is watching, that someone cares. Her phone rings. It's her landlord. Kamsi, this is the 3rd time I'm calling about the rent. 2 weeks late now. I promise, sir. I have a big opportunity coming up. Just a few more days. She hangs up and looks at her almost empty cup. The big opportunity was a lie. Or was it a hope? Sometimes even Kamsi couldn't tell the difference anymore. Under his mango tree, Mr. Adebayo watches the young people rushing by. Some in suits with briefcases, others in simple clothes looking for daily work, all with that same hungry look in their eyes. A young boy stops to buy roasted peanuts from a vendor nearby. "Young man," Mr. Adebayo calls. "Come sit for a moment." The boy looks hesitant but approaches. "Sir, tell me, what is your hurry today?" The boy, not more than 16, shifts his weight. "I'm looking for any job, sir. My mother is sick and my sister needs school fees." Mr. Adebayo nods. "A noble purpose. But remember, in your rush to provide, don't lose your way. The straight path may be longer, but it leads to peaceful sleep at night." The boy looks confused but nods respectfully before continuing his journey. They all run, Mr. Adebayo sighs. Some with purpose, others just because everyone else is running. Fate works in mysterious ways in Lagos. Some call it luck, others call it destiny. But sometimes, the city itself seems to bring together the souls that need to meet. The Youth Empowerment Seminar at the Community Center in Yoba was advertised on street posters and social media. Free Wi-Fi and refreshments available, these words brought Kamsi. Learn tech skills for tomorrow's jobs, these words brought Tolu. Different hooks, same fish. Tolu arrives early, notebook in hand, hunger for knowledge greater than the hunger in his stomach. He takes a seat in the front row, eager to absorb every word. Kamsi arrives fashionably late, making an entrance in her carefully chosen outfit. She scans the room for the best place to take photos that will make her look engaged and successful. She spots an empty seat near the front, next to a serious-looking young man. "Is this seat taken?" she asks Tolu. He looks up, slightly annoyed at the interruption. "No." Kamsi sits down, immediately taking out her phone to capture a selfie with the Youth Empowerment banner in the background. Tolu watches from the corner of his eye, judging her silently for what he sees as shallow behavior. The seminar begins. The speaker, a successful businessman who grew up in the slums of Lagos, shares his journey. His words cut through the room like sharp knives of truth. Lagos will not give you what you want just because you want it badly. Lagos will test you. It will break you down to see what you're made of. The question is not whether you will fall, everyone falls. The question is, what do you do when you are on the ground? Do you stay down? Do you blame the city? Or do you rise, dust yourself off, and remember why you started running in the first place? During the break, Tolu and Kamsi find themselves standing next to each other at the refreshment table. So, Tolu begins awkwardly, "What did you think of the talk?" Kamsi, surprised by the question, puts down her phone. "Honestly, I came for the free Wi-Fi and food." But, his words hit me hard. "Everyone back home thinks I'm already successful in Lagos. They don't know I can barely pay my rent." Tolu's judgment melts a little. "At least you're honest about it. What about you? Why are you here?" Kamsi asks. "I entered the national tech competition yesterday. I'm hoping to learn anything that might help me stand out." "Tech competition? That's impressive." Kamsi's admiration is genuine. And just like that, a conversation begins between two dreamers with different dreams but the same fire. As the seminar ends, neither Tolu nor Kamsi wants the conversation to end. They exchange numbers, promising to stay in touch. "Good luck with your competition," Kamsi says. "Good luck with your influencing," Tolu replies with a small smile. Neither knows that this random meeting would be the beginning of something important, something that would test them both. Unknown to both of them, Mr. Adebayo was also at the seminar, sitting quietly in the back. He watched their interaction with knowing eyes, as if he could already see the threads of their stories intertwining. 3 weeks after the seminar, Tolu's phone buzzes with an email notification. His hands shake as he opens it. "Dear Mr. Oluwatolu Adeyemi, we are pleased to inform you that your application MarketMate has been selected as one of the finalists in the National Youth Tech Competition. Tolu reads the message 3 times to make sure he's not dreaming. Then he lets out a shout of joy so loud that his neighbors bang on the wall. "Sorry," he calls out, but the smile doesn't leave his face. He immediately calls his mother. "Mama, I did it. I'm a finalist." His mother's joy comes through the phone, warm and proud. "Tolu, my son. I always knew you would make it. Your late father would be so proud." Tolu's next call is, surprisingly, to Kamsi. Over the past weeks, they had been texting regularly, sharing their daily struggles and small victories. "Kamsi, I made it to the finals." Kamsi's excitement matches his own. "Tolu, that's amazing. We need to celebrate." This calls for at least 1 cold bottle of soda. They agree to meet at a small eatery halfway between their homes. Meanwhile, Kamsi has her own exciting news. A company called Glorich Investments has reached out to her, impressed by her growing Instagram presence. They want her to be their brand ambassador, promoting their investment scheme that promises high returns. The pay is more money than Kamsi has seen in months. "This could be my big break," she tells herself as she gets ready to meet Tolu. No more late rent. Maybe even a better apartment. At Mr. Sunday's eatery, Tolu and Kamsi share their news over cold drinks and shared plates of jollof rice. "So this company just reached out to you?" Tolu asks, something in his voice suggesting concern. "Yes. They said my authentic voice is exactly what they need. All I have to do is tell my followers how I invested with them and how much money I'm making." Kamsi's eyes shine with excitement. "But you haven't actually invested with them, right?" Kamsi's smile falters. "Well, no. But they said that is fine. It's just marketing." Tolu puts down his spoon. "Have you researched this company? Are they registered with the Securities Commission?" Kamsi hadn't thought of that. The excitement begins to give way to doubt. The celebration mood shifts to serious conversation. Tolu shares his own news about the competition finals. "If I win, there is an investor group interested in funding MarketMate for nationwide use." But he hesitates. "But what?" Kamsi asks. "They want me to relocate to their tech hub in Kigali. For at least 2 years. Rwanda. That's far," Tolu nods. "My mother's health is not good. And who would look after her? Plus, everything I've built is here: my connections, my small coding classes for kids in Ikorodu." As they talk, an older man enters the eatery. Tolu recognizes him from the seminar. That is Mr. Adibeo, the retired teacher. People call him the street professor. Kamsi turns to look. "I've heard of him. They say he gives the best advice in Lagos." Almost as if he heard them, Mr. Adibeo looks their way and smiles. After ordering his food, he approaches their table. "Young dreamers," he greets them. "I remember you both from the seminar. May I join you?" Soon, they find themselves sharing their dilemmas with this wise stranger. He listens without interruption, his eyes kind but sharp. When they finish, Mr. Adibeo takes a slow sip of his water. "In this city," he says quietly, "the hustle can feed you or eat you. The difference is the kind of hunger you let lead you." He turns to Kamsi. "Young lady, money that comes from deceiving others always costs more than it pays. It takes pieces of your soul as interest." Then to Tolu, "Young man, dreams are important. But so are roots. The biggest trees have the deepest roots. Sometimes we need to grow where we are planted." He stands to leave, placing a gentle hand on each of their shoulders. "Remember, in Lagos, everyone is selling something. Make sure you're not selling your true self." With those words, he leaves, his foot barely touched. Tolu and Kamsi sit in silence, the wise man's words echoing in their minds. The days that follow are filled with difficult thoughts and sleepless nights for both Tolu and Kamsi. Kamsi researches glow-rich investments and discovers several complaints online from people who lost money. The company is not properly registered, and their business model looks suspiciously like a pyramid scheme. She sits on her bed, staring at the contract they sent her. The money would solve so many problems. But at what cost? She calls Tolu. What if I just promote them for 1 month? Just to get enough money to clear my debts. Then I can stop. Tolu's voice is gentle but firm. Kamsi, how many of your followers trust you? How many might invest their hard-earned money because you told them it was safe? The question hangs in the air between them. I don't know what else to do, Kamsi admits, her voice breaking. Come meet me tomorrow, Tolu says. I have an idea. Meanwhile, Tolu faces his own crossroads. The competition finals are approaching, and the potential investors have made it clear if he wins, they want him in Kigali within a month. His mother notices his distraction during his weekly visit home. Tolu, what troubles you? You should be happy about the finals. He explains the situation to her. His mother takes his hand. My son, do not make me the chain that holds you back. I raised you to fly. But Mama, your health. She smiles. God was taking care of me before you were born. He won't stop now. That night, Tolu can't sleep. He keeps thinking about Mr. Adebayo's words about roots. About his mother's sacrifice. About the kids in Ikorodu who look up to him as proof that one of them could make it. An idea begins to form in his mind. A bold one. The next day, Tolu and Kamsi meet at a small park. Both look tired but determined. I'm not taking the glow-rich deal, Kamsi announces before even sitting down. Relief washes over Tolu's face. That is good. That is really good, Kamsi. But I still need money, she sighs. Reality doesn't change just because I made the right choice. Tolu nods. That is actually what I wanted to talk to you about. I have an idea. He explains his plan. Instead of promoting fraudulent schemes, what if Kamsi used her growing platform to educate young people about such scams? What if she started a podcast about financial literacy and online safety for young Nigerians? But how would that make money? Kamsi asks. Not immediately, Tolu admits. But there are legitimate companies looking for authentic voices. Plus, I might be able to help with the tech side. Kamsi considers the idea. It would be slower money, but honest money. Money she could be proud of. I'll do it, she decides. I'll call it Truth Over Trends. Real talk about real life in Lagos. Tolu grins. I like it. What about you? Have you decided about Kigali? Tolu takes a deep breath. I'm going to the finals with a counteroffer. I want to stay in Lagos and establish a tech hub right here in Ikorodu. Part of my earnings would go to training local youth. Do you think they'll agree to that? I don't know. But I have to try. This city made me who I am. Maybe it is time to give back while I grow. Unknown to them, Mr. Adebayo was sitting on a bench nearby, reading his newspaper. He smiles to himself as he overhears their conversation. Or, he whispers. Now they understand. The true hustle is not just about surviving the city. It is about making the city better while you rise. Kamsi sits in her small apartment, facing her phone propped up on a stack of books. She has transformed her tiny dining table into a makeshift podcast studio. A bedsheet hangs behind her to hide the peeling paint on the wall. Welcome to the first episode of Truth Over Trends. I'm your host, Kamsi. Her voice shakes slightly with nervousness. Today, we're talking about investment scams targeting young Nigerians. You know those Instagram posts promising you can turn 5,000 naira into 50,000 in a week? Let's talk about why that's probably too good to be true. After recording, she sends the audio to Tolu, who helps her edit it. When they post the first episode, The response is not what Kamsi hoped for. Only 12 listeners. She sighs during a call with Tolu. And most of them are probably just my family members. It's just the beginning, Tolu encourages her. Real growth takes time. Meanwhile, my landlord doesn't take time as payment for rent, Kamsi replies bitterly. Tolu faces his own challenges. The competition finals arrive, and his presentation impresses the judges. Marketmate wins second place, not first, but enough to catch the investors' attention. The meeting with them does not go as smoothly as he hoped. Mr. Adeyemi, we appreciate your commitment to your community, says Mr. Peterson, the lead investor. But our model requires our tech developers to be on-site in Kigali. The collaboration and innovation happen when everyone is together. Tolu stands his ground. With all due respect, sir, technology makes remote collaboration possible. And there's untapped potential right here in Lagos. Young minds hungry for opportunity. The investors exchange glances. We'll need to discuss this internally. Days pass without word from the investors. Tolu continues his small coding classes in Ikorodu, trying not to show his disappointment. One evening, as he's locking up the community center where he teaches, he finds Mr. Adebayo waiting. How goes the battle, young warrior? The older man asks. Tolu manages a smile. Still fighting, sir. But the enemy is strong. Mr. Adebayo nods. The true test of a dream is not how brightly it shines in success, but how strongly it glows in disappointment. I'm trying to keep it glowing, Tolu admits. And your friend? The young lady with the camera always ready. Kamsi. She's struggling too. Her podcast isn't taking off as she hoped. Mr. Adebayo thinks for a moment. Both of you, come to my home this Sunday. Maybe an old man can help. Tolu is surprised by the invitation but agrees. Meanwhile, Kamsi receives a new offer from another company selling weight loss products. The pay is good, and they don't explicitly ask her to lie. They just want her to imply that she uses the product. She stares at the email for a long time, her finger hovering over the accept button. Her rent is due next week. Her podcast has now reached 50 listeners better, but not enough to attract sponsors. Her phone rings. It's Tolu, inviting her to Mr. Adebayo's home. I don't know, Tolu. I'm really struggling here. Just come, Tolu insists. What do you have to lose? Sunday arrives. Mr. Adebayo's home is small but neat, in an old part of Lagos. To their surprise, several other people are there: a newspaper editor, a community bank manager, and the owner of a small tech company. I've invited some old friends, Mr. Adebayo explains. People who might be interested in your journeys. What follows is an afternoon of connections and conversations. The newspaper editor is interested in having Kamsi write a weekly column about youth issues. The bank manager talks about a financial literacy program they want to launch, needing a young voice like Kamsi's. The tech company owner listens to Tolu's marketmate pitch and sees potential for collaboration that wouldn't require relocation. As the sun sets, Tolu and Kamsi walk together to the bus stop, their heads spinning with new possibilities. How did he do that? Kamsi wonders. Bring all those people together for us? Tolu shakes his head in amazement. I think Mr. Adebayo has been building connections in this city longer than we've been alive. He didn't have to help us, Kamsi says softly. No, he didn't. But that's Lagos too. For every person trying to pull you down, there's someone willing to lift you up. We just have to recognize them. 6 months pass. Lagos continues its endless dance of chaos and creation. But now, Tolu and Kamsi are no longer just trying to survive the music, they're learning to dance with it. In a renovated warehouse in Ikorodu, Tolu oversees the finishing touches on Code Hub, a tech center funded partly by the local tech company he partnered with and partly by a modified deal with the original investors. They agreed to a hybrid model. Tolu would spend 1 week each month in Kigali but build the main development team in Lagos. More power outlets on that wall, he directs the electrician. We'll have at least 10 computers there. His mother sits proudly in the corner, her health improved now that she doesn't have to work in the market anymore. Instead, she manages the small canteen attached to Code Hub. Across the city, Kamsi sits in a real radio studio, recording the 15th episode of Truth Over Trends, which has now been picked up by a local station. Her column in the weekend newspaper has become popular among young readers, and she has partnerships with 2 legitimate financial institutions that sponsor her content on financial literacy. Remember, young Lagos, she speaks into the professional microphone, your dreams matter. But so does the path you take to reach them. The money that costs you your peace, your integrity, or other people's trust is always too expensive. After the recording, she checks her bank balance. For the first time since moving to Lagos, she has enough saved to pay 3 months' rent in advance. One evening, Tolu and Kamsi meet at Mr. Adebayo's favorite spot under the mango tree near the bus stop. The old teacher smiles as they approach. "Oh, my young friends. The city looks good on you now." They sit with him, sharing updates about their ventures. Mr. Adebayo listens with pride shining in his eyes. "You know," he says when they finish, "many young people come to Lagos looking for success. But few understand what success truly is." "What do you mean?" Kamsi asks. "Success is not just what you build for yourself. It's also what you build for others. Both of you are now creating ladders for others to climb. That is true Lagos success." Tolu thinks about the 15 young people from Ikorodu who now have paid internships at Code Hub. About how 3 of them have already developed their own apps. Kamsi thinks about the messages she receives from listeners who avoided scams because of her podcast. About the young girl who started her own legitimate small business after attending one of Kamsi's workshops. "We didn't leave Lagos," Tolu smiles. "We just learned how to rise above it while lifting others." Mr. Adebayo nods. "And that, my children, is the greatest hustle of all." 1 year after their first meeting at the Youth Empowerment Seminar, Tolu and Kamsi find themselves back at the same venue. But this time, they are not in the audience. They are on the stage. "Welcome to this year's Youth Empowerment Seminar," the organizer announces. "We have 2 special speakers today, young Lagosians who have created their own paths to success while empowering others." Kamsi steps forward first, her confidence now genuine, not performed for social media. "My name is Kamsi," she begins. 2 years ago, I came to Lagos with nothing but big dreams and a small suitcase. I thought success meant having a perfect Instagram feed and thousands of followers." She pauses, looking at the sea of young faces. "Today, I have those followers. But that's not my success story. My success is in the hundreds of young people who avoided financial scams because of information from my podcast. My success is in being able to look in the mirror and be proud of how I earn my living." When it's Tolu's turn, he tells the story of MarketMate, now used by over 5,000 market sellers across Nigeria. He talks about Code Hub and the young developers it has nurtured. "I almost left Lagos for what I thought was a bigger opportunity," he admits. "But sometimes, the biggest opportunity is right where you already are, it just needs your courage and creativity to bring it to life." In the back of the hall, Mr. Adebayo watches with tears in his eyes, his heart full as he witnesses his young friends completing the circle from seekers to givers, from dreamers to doers. After the seminar, a young woman approaches Kamsi, her eyes filled with hope and questions. "I just moved to Lagos last month," she admits. "It's so hard. Everything costs more than I expected. I'm thinking of taking this offer to promote products online, even though I haven't tried them." Kamsi recognizes herself from a year ago in this young woman's eyes. "What's your name?" she asks gently. "Amora." "Well, Amora, let me tell you what someone once told me about hustling in this city. Nearby, Tolu is surrounded by young tech enthusiasts asking about Code Hub. One skinny boy at the back catches his attention, the determination in his eyes reminding Tolu of himself. "Sir," the boy finally speaks when others have left, "I don't have money for computer classes. But I have time and I learn fast. Is there any way?" Tolu puts a hand on the boy's shoulder. "What's your name?" "Emeka, sir." "Well, Emeka, there's always a way for those willing to work hard. Come to Code Hub on Monday morning." As the crowd thins, Tolu, Kamsi, and Mr. Adebayo find themselves standing together near the refreshment table, exactly where Tolu and Kamsi first really talked. "Full circle," Mr. Adebayo observes. "The students become the teachers." "We still have much to learn," Tolu says humbly. "Always," agrees the old teacher. "But you have also learned the most important lesson Lagos can teach." "Which is?" Kamsi asks. "That the true echo of your hustle is not in the money it brings you today, but in the lives it touches tomorrow." Later that evening, the three friends stand on the rooftop of Tolu's new apartment building, watching the sun set over the vast, chaotic, beautiful city of Lagos. The city lights begin to twinkle like earthbound stars. "Lagos," Kamsi whispers, "you didn't make it easy. But you made us strong," Tolu adds. Mr. Adebayo smiles, looking at his young friends now standing tall in a city that had once threatened to break them. "Remember this moment," he tells them. "For somewhere in this city, other young dreamers are just beginning their journey. And someday, you will be the ones to help them find their way." Dear viewers, the story of Tolu, Kamsi, and Mr. Adebayo reminds us of important truths that echo through the busy streets of our African cities and the rushing hearts of our youth. In this age of quick fame and instant success that fills our screens, remember these lessons from our tale. Integrity may cost you something now, but it saves your soul in the long run. When Kamsi turned away from easy but dishonest money, she found a path that brought both success and peace. Your background is not your barrier, it's your blueprint. Tolu used his understanding of life in Ikorodu not as an excuse to escape but as inspiration to create solutions. Fast money fades, but purpose fuels forever. Both our young heroes discovered that success built on helping others stands stronger against the winds of change. When the world tells you to sell your soul, remember, you are not for sale. Your integrity is your true wealth in a world that often confuses price with value. Young brothers and sisters watching this video, as you hustle and strive in your own cities and villages, carry this wisdom from our African streets. Don't hustle so hard that you forget who you're hustling to become. We would love to hear your thoughts on this story. What challenges are you facing in your own hustle? How have you maintained your integrity when tested? Share your experiences in the comments below. If this story touched your heart or taught you something valuable, please subscribe to our channel and tap the notification bell to receive more African wisdom tales that speak to our modern lives. Until next time, remember, the city never sleeps, neither does the hustle, but make sure your conscience can still rest peacefully at night.